Alright. Just got a shower. I'm going to give this a go. We're going to try it out. I'm going to talk about some things that I haven't really talked to a lot of people about. So, bear with me. When my mom was pregnant with me, she gained a whole 11 pounds. Alright. When I was two and a half, I still hadn't talked yet. I was abused by my mom's husband or boyfriend, whatever he was. He held me underwater and beat on me. And I had no way of expressing myself. So I just held it in, I guess. And I didn't talk till I was like almost 4 years old. And I stopped eating when I was about 2 and a half. And the only thing that my mom could get me to eat was milkshakes. I was molested when I was 3 by my 16-year-old babysitter. She was pretty, if that matters. When I was like 7 or 8, I got put on Adderall. Or Ritalin, actually, not Adderall, Ritalin. And they had me overdosed on it. So by age like 10, I weighed like a whole 42 pounds. Which isn't enough. I was doing poorly in school. I did real bad in school, actually. I would just break down. Mom would try to help me with my homework and stuff. And I struggled a lot. And then when I hit like middle school, I had this anger problem. And like I would be walking down the hallway and see people. This is hard for me, so bear with me. I would see people in the classroom, and they would glance at me, and I'd glance at them, and I'd make eye contact. And I thought they were talking about me. So I would start a fight immediately. And of course, that got me in more trouble. And then I learned, because I struggled with education, that if I just, instead of getting up in front of the class and speaking or learning anything, I would just start a fight. I could start a fight and immediately be expelled from the class, which was what I wanted. So it didn't really help me at all by doing that. Like my counselors told me I'd never amount to nothing and blah blah blah. But what I was saying is I went through all this and suicidal thoughts, like I was cutting myself and really contemplating suicide. Like my first attempt, I think I was 13, and I took a whole bottle of Tylenol PMs. My mom had went to Georgia to live with her husband, and I stayed in Iuka, Mississippi, and I felt abandoned, so I wanted a way out. So I took a bunch of Tylenol PMs, started huffing gas and huffing paint and glue and taking somas, and the reason why I wanted to say this stuff is because a lot of people that they talk about schizophrenia and mental illness, they never really talk about drug addiction. They never really break it down. And I started using drugs and shit to fucking cope, man, just to get through. To try to deal with what I was going through. I didn't know how to deal with it emotionally or mentally. I was a child, and so I started taking pills and started drinking and smoking weed at like 13. Moved on up to like 15, 16. And I found skateboarding, and I was still getting fucked up, but skateboarding gave me an outlet. I could kind of express myself and get that adrenaline rush, which I didn't need drugs for, which was awesome. But then I failed again. I stopped skateboarding 2 or 3 years after I started and fell back into the drugs. And I started with the women when I was like 15. I thought it was a game. Like I would pick out the prettiest, smartest, preppiest women that I could find in my school. The girls, they weren't women, they were girls. We were like 15, 14 girls. And it was a game to me, I'm the poor kid, grunge kid at school, or goth kid. I mixed it up. But and that was my goal. Can I get this? Can I go out here and can I get this? It's a challenge, and I did. I did every time. It never failed. So I learned real quick. If you can manipulate people, you can get what you want. So that really helped me out with my drugs and stuff throughout my teenage years. When I was 19, I found meth for the first time, crystal meth, ice, and I think I did like a gram and a half the first night, and I blasted off. I thought I was gonna die, but I met this chick, and she was. I thought she was really cool. She's a few years older than me, and we were just fuck buddies, but then we become more than that. But we stayed together for about almost 5 years. And when I was around 21, I had a baby. I won't mention her name, but beautiful kid ever. She still is. And so I decided that I would join the military because I needed to be fixed from all my anxiety and stuff, and I needed, something that could take care of my family. So I went to the military, and like 2 years into the military, after being with this woman for so long, I found out she was cheating on me. And it devastated me. Like, I lost my mind. I spiraled down so hard, started shooting up and stuff, just went crazy. And me and her split up for like a year, and then like a year later, we got back together, and I caught her doing meth. Caught her at the house. And so instead of being like, you're wrong, I was like, well, let's do it. Let's shoot up together, let's go all the way in. So we did. And of course that didn't pay off very well. But after a few years of that, or after a couple years of that, I met this other chick, and we spiraled out of control. She worked, I didn't. I manufactured meth, and she funded my addiction and my habits, of course. And one day I got out of the shower and I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. And I was like, wow, what am I doing? What kind of toll has this taken on me? So I went and bought like $500 worth of crack and got high, and then loaded up everything we had and moved from Corinth or Cassus, Mississippi to Iuka, Mississippi. Was about 40 minutes away. And thought, well, okay, we're gonna sober up and get our shit together, And we did for a little while. We did for a while. She held a job, and I just kept failing, And then I got hit with these sales charges of meth, cocaine, Lortab, hydrocodone, liquid hydrocodone, codeine, just all kind of fake dope, all kind of stuff. And I fought that in court, and she was like 8 months pregnant. I fought that in court and ended up winning because they had their shit all mixed up. But moved on from that. We'd been together for like another year, and she got pregnant. And of course, she's like 6.5 months in, and I'm still fucking up, still making mistakes. And she moves in with her mom, or her brother actually, which is fine. Better there than with me, I took it very offensively, like, what are you doing? It's not my fault, it's your fault. You're not doing right, and looking back on it now, she had every right to move out. I totally understand now. But me and her stayed together for another year and a half after my son was born, and I was messing up. I was working at this time, and I thought I had my shit together because I was working, But apparently you can't work a steady job and be high on meth at the same time. and pills and weed and alcohol all the time. But I thought you could. And I did it for like 3 months. And I thought that I was doing the right thing. But I was sneaking off at night, to get high and stuff. But I thought that as long as I was making money, that's what mattered. Uh, yeah. Yeah, I was messing up big time, you know. I went back to jail. And she left me. Which was which was great because I ended up learning that you can't put your blames on everybody else's. But I want to talk about like I'm schizophrenic and I have major drug addiction problems. So I have um double fucked, I guess you could say. Uh you gotta stop making excuses for yourself and other people too. Like they can help what they do. You can help what you do. Um But she left me while I was in jail. I did like 6 months in jail. She left me while I was in jail. When I got out of jail and was like, oh, I got my life together. I'm sober now. We're going to get shit together. And I went and stayed the night with her. And the first thing she did was she broke out a glass pipe and was like, you want to hit this? And I'm like, well, meth? Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's get high. 6 months, every day being sober. Knew that I'd never touch it again. And it was put in my face. And I failed miserably. And then I felt like it was my fault that me and her didn't work out again. But it was both of our faults. I take full responsibility for my fuck up. It is what it is. But then I kept fucking up for a couple years. And now, I like was really hitting psychosis real hard on and off, like pretty regular though, like every 2 months or so. And then I moved in with these people that compared to where I come from, they had it made. They financially they were not burdened. I'll say that. I'm not saying they had it made, but financially they were okay, which I never knew what that was until I moved in with them. Now my best friend that I thought I could trust with anything and everything. This I just got out of the shower, it's not sweat. Uh, that I thought I could trust with anything and everything revolted against me. And like I was doing all this work around their house and their yard, just doing all this maintenance and stuff. And I thought I was doing good. Yeah, I was drinking beer every day, but I thought I was doing good. And he come out of nowhere with this, oh, he might kill all of y'all, sleep because he's crazy. And yeah, I don't like the term crazy, but if you want to put a word to it, yeah, I'm crazy. Crazy like everybody else. We all have thoughts that aren't appropriate, and we all fantasize about things that we shouldn't. It's I'm no crazier than anybody else. But for some reason, in his mind, because he wanted to sit on his ass and not do anything ever, even for the people that made sure he had everything, I found it repulsive. Like, it literally started making me sick at my stomach because I didn't understand why he didn't appreciate what I appreciated. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's judgment. But when you have everything handed to you, which I did not, and maybe it would have made a difference, you would think you would be a little more appreciative. But no. We stopped talking. He stopped coming over. Even though I live with his people, he just totally stopped coming around. which is fine because that shows his true colors, which is great for me to know. I'm glad to know. But anyways, 3 years now I've been here, and I've got a psychiatrist, I've got a heart doctor, I've got a rheumatologist, I've got a neurologist, rheumatologist, psychiatrist, I don't know, a few other doctors. I can't think of it right now. But I go to so many doctor's appointments. It's crazy. And I have all these issues, like they're okay. Well, you have these physical elements which are pointing to like, maybe you have an autoimmune disease, which, according to my blood work, is possible. But an autoimmune disease is linked to schizophrenia. Okay, well, so is a mother going without nutrition when they're pregnant is linked to schizophrenia. So is child abuse linked to schizophrenia. So is struggling in school is linked to schizophrenia. All of these things are linked to my diagnosis, which is fine. But there's this thing that's called epigenetics. Epi means on top of. And of course, you know what genetics are, genes. Now, you can take somebody like me and say that, okay, gene wise, he is more likely to be mentally ill. Now, that's fine. If I'm raised in the right conditions, I won't be mentally ill. Now, you expose me to certain environmental factors, and then I become a higher risk of being mentally ill. So, that's fun. And then you add drug addiction and everything else on top of it. Okay, so I don't stand a chance, which is fine. I can deal with that too. What I don't like is them saying that I have to take these medications and damage my organs due to these medications in order to get a little bit of sanity. Now, I'm not insane. Albert Einstein's definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting different outcomes. I have been insane in my life. I am not insane now. Okay, so if I'm not insane now, does that mean I'm sane? I don't think so. I don't think insanity and sanity is really that far apart. It's all about your perspective. If we all perceive that our situation is bad and you wake up in the morning, oh, today's going to be a bad day, I feel like shit, well then more than likely today's going to be a bad day, more than likely you're going to feel like shit all day. But if you get up and you make the decision to make your day the best that it can be, and you wake up, I am feeling great, I am going to have a fantastic day, then do it. Everybody wants to blame everybody else and everything else. Stop doing that. If you want your life to be lived, then show up for it. Show up for life to be lived. That's all you got to do. Present yourself to the world and you will live your life. It's real simple, And I don't know, I'm sure I rambled off about some crazy shit, but I hope what I said can help somebody.